Hello. So, do we do the demo?
Yeah, so we did the demo. We are live actually now. Uh, so Rafa and I tested the auction engine. So basically, Rafa was able to uh, put a bid or an auction, and then I bid with my tumbler, and basically, like I we got the task done via the auction engine. So I think, oh nice, Rafa is the tumbler now. Yeah, so I'll send you the PCB today. That was for my second tumbler, but I have a new robot coming, so I'll play with that. Yeah, we can try the
Some
demo.
some quick updates on my side. I have a couple conversations with some construction general contractors lined up for the next couple weeks. I'm going to ask them about their current state of autonomous robots and ground robots specifically. Apparently, drones are well adopted, but ground robots not so much. They're quite new. And the Had a good conversation yesterday with uh, David Osher from that's like a friend at like a network. I What is it? Like someone
Weak ties.
Weak
Yeah.
ties, who turns out to be leading all the drone coordination effort to update the regulation in Germany from a military perspective. So he's a really good connection, and he's going to try to introduce us to a couple of people. And then I'm going to update the demo website, which I just linked in Discord that you guys can open up. The To also have a front-facing like on-chain registration process, so that you don't have to do the on-chain registration for 804 via like just like Claude or anything. We'll have like a snazzy interface for it that will just like do it for us. I'm gonna explore with that. That's the next steps, and then I'm gonna try to put a camera on my Tumblr so I can program it to do a live stream on the demo. Um, yeah, lots of fake rovers right now. We need real rovers now. I want to put a camera on my Tumblr so when we do the demo, we can live stream the visual of the rover, like as if you were like on Mars or like whatever, with a little camera that's like kind of seeing each other. So that's kind of next steps.
So
Um,
there are two ways to do it. Like one is the actual. You can have a FPV cam on the um, tumbler itself. So if you see the uh, PCB, there is a USB coming out.
yeah,
So no, not there. So you don't have it
uh,
yet.
I don't have it.
So
No.
yeah, because yeah, you need this PCB, and then you can basically plug in an extra ESP32 cam or the ZAO, the ESP32S3 board from Seed Studio. I think that is a good one. It's really small form factor and it
Nice.
has like the same processor. So you could buy that if you would like to add a cam.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I'm probably going to do that. And then what I was thinking is updating the demo so that when you hire a robot, you can live stream the feed of the robot like doing its work, um, and which I think would be quite fun.
yeah. So the other way is like having a small uh, test area, and then you can just stream it via iPhone or any other phone or
Yeah.
something that is facing the small
I'm gonna-
test.
I'm, I'm also going to try to speak with a couple of drone operators here in Berlin to see if they'd be open to doing like just a small demo project with us to connect one of their drones to the auction website and with restricted movement, right? Like, lift 5 feet and then like take a picture or something like that, not like fly to Munich. But I think that would be really good as well. So all of it is feasible. We just need to talk to the right people, and we should be able to get it done. I wanted to ask Anuraj, for getting, like, if I talk to a drone operator here in Berlin, the modifications are twofold, right? They need slightly different hardware, and then they need the software. So they need like an MCP connection, right? So they need like Wi-Fi connection or Bluetooth.
Yeah, so this is the drone I have.
Okay.
It's a toy. Yeah. So this comes with the Python SDK,
Okay.
and then yeah, and it connects to the Wi-Fi.
So
So
as long as it connects to Wi-Fi and has some sort of SDK,
it
then
doesn't need to be Wi-Fi, but it has to be reachable to the MCP server.
reachable to the
So
MCP.
yeah. So what I do is basically I run a MCP server on a local my machine, and then it talks to the drone, and then I plug this MCP server it gets plugged into the fast API gateway,
Got it.
and that is like loaded with the ngrok, or you could also do it with this cloudflare tunnels which you are using.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think ngrok also does something similar. I use ngrok, but yeah, it's the same. So
Got it.
basically you just have to write some glue code. If you see the robots folder and there is a template, so basically like that is a template to wrap your robot affordances into MCP tools. So
Got it.
basically use that show Claude that template and then tell these are, so it has to be some sort of the robot has to have some sort of API towards it.
Got
So
it.
I
So
yeah.
yeah. Okay. So I have to basically, we're gonna create a cloud mine for the robot that may or may not be connected to its physical environment. So you're creating a little like mind that's like um,
Yeah.
that
Yes.
is
Yes.
that's in the cloud. And if you
Yes.
are connected to the robot, then the robot moves. If you're not connected to the robot, then it's like, hey, my
Yeah.
arm is not like connected right now, so I can't really do
Yeah.
anything.
So it doesn't need to be in the cloud. So if like
Oh yeah,
these
but it,
are
it could be on your computer or like whatever it is.
or
But
on
right
the
now,
robot itself, right? Because
yeah,
like if you see this is a yeah, a Raspberry Pi hat. So this was like the future plan is to have like this sitting on a Raspberry Pi, and
yes,
then like you could basically run the MCP server there
yeah,
itself.
yeah. Yeah, and that makes perfect sense because that's what I was thinking right now. Like the hat is on the computer, right?
Yeah,
But ideally, we put that magical hat inside on the robot itself, so the robot can wake itself up or go back, like do whatever it needs to do. Okay, cool. Um, do
Yeah,
we want to run the live
I think that's
auction?
a very important question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Rafa, can you just say a little bit more about that, about the robot waking itself up? Because when you have a drone, it usually has very small power reserves. So what does the drone do while it's waiting for somebody to bid on
Sleeping,
its services?
charging,
Yeah, but while it's
charging, and
waiting,
sleeping.
it can't answer.
Well, that's the thing that I would like to figure out. But my long-term interest is getting drones that can basically like take instructions 24 hours a day and do stuff 24 hours a day. So imagine you have a
So
drone. Imagine you have a Roomba, right? That it's in the platform, so it's charging
yeah,
and it gets an instruction. It does the instruction, it goes back to the platform, charges again, does another instruction, and so on.
right.
Now that's if we have underground electric charging, like the car charging that is currently being developed, then you can just like have them sit in a warehouse, right? And then they just like go out of the back cave, and fly out, go do their surveying or whatever safety review, and then they fly back in. According to the drone to David yesterday, the drones already have a couple hundred miles of travel distance. So you can do like you can have a base, and you don't need to necessarily truck the drones anywhere. and he said that in the next couple of years, the civilian airspace for drones will be mature enough, and it's already like maturing. So that's pretty interesting.
Well, I actually want to double down on what I said. I said that the drone is off most of the time, and now I'll add to it, and the drone is out of communication link most of the time. I mean, it almost sounds like every drone needs to hire an agent to do
That's right.
negotiation.
That's right. Yeah, that's what because technically Anuraj's drone right now can bid even if the hardware isn't turned on. Because the hat, right, Anuraj, like your MCP, your tunnel can be turned on and you can still technically bid, right? That's
Yeah.
how
So
the developers bid.
yeah, and then there is a tool called is the robot online, and that the
Yeah,
MCP server basically pings the robot if it's online or not, and then replies to the agent.
yeah. Um, cool.
Regarding drones, I was planning to buy this one. So because a lot of the drones in the market are not hackable, uh, because like they don't have an SDK, or even the toy drone from DJI which I showed, it just has a Python SDK, and then you cannot add more sensors to it or do some experiments. So I was thinking of buying.
Yeah, that's part of the problem that where you kind of have to overcome. So almost all the drones are basically like yeah, like a platform closed software. So you have to be able to create a bit of a software kit for on-chain registration and communication, and we have to kind of partner with drone companies to make that compatibility like with the open protocol.
Yeah, so basically this is like a $50 ESP32 drone I was planning to buy, but I haven't. I've been like, I kept it on hold because like I have other robots to attend to. But this is like one of the robots I would buy. So you can add different kinds of sensors, whichever you
Nice,
want, and then basically you can change the firmware and then do lots of different kinds of experiments. So you could also add a small FPGA on board, and then do really fast processing on board for something like if you want to detect something.
nice.
But
That's awesome. Can you send? Is that the link that you just sent?
yeah, that is the link I posted in the private chat, but I can post that in Discord. So this is like
Yeah.
one of the drones I was planning to buy.
Well, after I program this one, I might buy that one. I basically want to have like a fleet of real drones, each with a specific camera and restricted movement. And I want to create, I want to be able to run the demo, like even if it's in my backyard or in the park, and you can like auction and actually see the drones moving. Speaking of that, do you guys want to see the auction in real time and like see the
Yeah,
payment processing and stuff?
Yeah. So
yeah,
just one more thing about the drone. So basically, this is like the standard research platform for small drones. So if you go to any of the research drone research labs, Crazy Fly is like the standard one they use. But then people have, but this runs on this Nordic semiconductor chip, and then people have, and then it comes with a lot of extra SDKs and nice software. But then people have modified this and like kind of made this on ESP32 and other processors. Yeah, this is something good to know about.
Yeah. Okay. Anuraj, is your Tumblr online? You have the
Yeah, it's
camera
online.
going?
Yeah, let me start the. Uh,
I've tried to do this demo like a bunch, like 10 times, and it succeeded every time. But it's probably gonna fail this one time that we're gonna do it live. But we're gonna
exactly.
try.
Why do it live?
Probability of failure
Most
is high in a public demo.
okay, the uh, Tumblr MCP server is on now.
Okay, let me see if I can see you. Okay.
Can one of you share a screen? We can't see anything. Somebody share a
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, I will. I'm just checking to make sure we have everything. By the way, you guys can also run the demo. So actually, it would be even better if one of you guys actually ran the website instead of me, to test that someone else like runs it. The website is stable, and I'm using Fly.io and Tunnel, so it's not on my computer anymore. Anybody want to volunteer? Eric, Mayor, you guys want to try it out? Ellen,
I'm not
Venkat, no? Okay.
set up.
Okay, you're doing good. Fine. I'll share my screen then. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet. Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is kind of quite an improvement in my opinion on the demo where we've been, but you can see the Tumblr Finland here. I've unclicked demo operators only because if I click this, then it'll only basically use the fake rovers for testing. And then there's a general task here of like just move 3 waypoints. So it's just gonna say like move forward and whatnot, and take the temperature and humidity. I click on hire and like an operator, and what it's doing is it's converting plain English into machine language that is much more deterministic. So that's the LLM working. And let's see if it works. Okay, so processing the RFP, posting the task, collecting bids, reviewing bids, awarding the task, and Tumblr Finland is doing it. They have a payment account active. They have a specific score for selection. And there's kind of like, you can also add more details, but we haven't added much more details. It's kind of like the same details here. And you can also see awarding task. You can click on each of these like activity information, and here's like the reviewing the bids which are coming in, and then we proceed to dispatch. We're going to pay with stablecoin. Oh, I need to change the wallet. Which wallet am I using? Sample buyer robot. There we go. Let me see if it checks. Yes. Operator word, is it moving?
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. And let's see. Completed the work. Task successfully executed. Confirming delivery. We have so in this situation, the Tumblr delivered the data, but you don't get to see the data that the Tumblr delivered until you release the payment. So we release the payment. The Tumblr now got paid, and you get your delivery payload as well as IPFS gateway as a permalink, and you can kind of view the operator payment as a success. And this happened in real blockchain, so this is real money. This was testnet, but it works with real money. I heard that's tested. Stripe and bank-to-bank accounts are also in test, but they technically work if I activate the production Stripe account.
It looks faster than last week, is it?
What?
Yeah, so we had like some during the first test we were fixing some things. Yeah, but right now we have done it once. So
okay.
yeah.
Because it looks super fluid and well faster than last week.
Yeah.
But there is no change on the protocol side. I mean, there is no, I don't know, caching or whatever that would really significantly make it faster.
Yeah, so it's I need to. So there's a couple of constraints that need to get optimized, but if we add more GPU power to a couple of things, like it will move quicker. The website will move even quicker, so it'll be quite seamless. but you can already feel, like you can taste like how crazy this would be in real time if you were like, I need a survey of a building, and then you would get like your notice that the drone had already been deployed, right? And then you come back like 30 minutes later and it already took, your like the data review, or like a swarm of drones go take all the pictures, and like they all get compressed and processed, and you like go back to your desk and the survey is like done and uploaded to your software in real time.
Okay.
Which is pretty awesome.
This is very nice with data escrow, but what if the drone is supposed to do something and not just do data escrow? For example, let's say the drone is supposed to cut my lawn.
Yeah. So technically, so what I would probably like, obviously you have a action escrow right now, but this is flexible, right? You can, instead of doing hold payment approval and like release, you can start thinking about escrow payments. You can change your payment structure to pay per minute of an active robot, using X402. You can, so you kind of have a baseline for what your payment structure looks like, but you can kind of add whatever payment structure the MCP requests. So obviously down in the roadmap, but you can imagine a situation where the robot isn't just specifying what account to get paid in, but they also specify payment terms in terms of continuous payment, escrow minimums, so on and so forth.
So what you're saying is that the agent needs to track both what the robot does and where the money is.
That's right. So the agent needs to do a couple things on the robot side. On the robot side, it needs to evaluate the task requirement, right, and see if they can achieve it. So we need to assume honest agents for this. So let's start with that assumption. So they need to evaluate the task and say, honestly, can my robot successfully do this or not, or my fleet or my swarm? Two, for my robot, fleet, or swarm to do this, what is the payment requirement? So they need to be able to calculate payment requirement like a human does, like, what your bid is going to be. And three, it needs to be able to monitor either itself or have a subsystem that monitors the payment alignment from the marketplace to the task completion. Now, we can do a bunch of shortcuts here, which is what I've done. One, everybody is on account. We have a semi-escrow because you approve payment and then you release. The robots are trusting the marketplace right now. So the robot trusts that the marketplace is honest right now. So you have honest buyers and honest stuff. And three, they trust that the marketplace completes their payment if they if they accept the task from the marketplace. But of course, the ideal situation is you don't have to trust the marketplace at all, right? Because you have verifiable stuff. And if we get to that point, it also means we can do end-to-end encryption and the marketplace doesn't even need to know what the task is or what the payment is. It can facilitate the matching and the bidding, closed eyes. But obviously,
what about the tracking?
What?
What about the tracking of the performance? In other words, if I do micropayments, let's say every square foot of lawn that is cut, I get another, 0.1.
Yeah.
How do you track that if you're not supposed to know what the task is?
So the marketplace doesn't need to know, but the robot and the buyer both need to know.
Yeah, so but the robot doesn't trust the buyer. I mean that's the whole
the
buyer doesn't trust the robot.
Yeah, but you can have an open stream of payment. So like as soon as you stop the payment, like then you just stop.
No, let me explain. So I bought lawn cutting services, but I
Yeah,
don't want anybody to know I have a lawn. So the robot knows, but nobody else needs to know.
yeah,
Now, if it was just measuring temperature in my lawn, so I could pay each square foot each time I get a data point, I pay, and your server doesn't need to know what data I got.
yeah,
But if it's mowing a lawn, somebody has to verify that the lawn was actually cut. And the
yeah,
buyer, yeah, but the buyer doesn't want to do real-time management. Okay, the buyer just wanted to buy a service. If you hire somebody to mow your lawn and you look over their shoulder all the time, okay, it's not fun for anybody.
yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the solution to this is. Like you might, I don't know, maybe you connect a camera to your, maybe part of the RFP is that the robot is monitored and you need two robots. Maybe your RFP includes two robots, includes one camera robot and one gardener robot. And neither gets paid. Sorry, the gardener robot doesn't get paid if the camera robot doesn't do it, because right now we're doing single task, right? One robot, one thing.
right.
But it's that as we think about the RFPs can be infinitely complex, and you're going to get decentralized groups of robots that are going to agree we can do this job together, right? Obviously, this is not next month, but as you start introducing complexity in the payment, and also multiple robots, then you're going to have robots that watch, robots that do, robots that help, robots that transport, robots that clean up after others, right? Like, and so your RFPs are going to get increasingly complicated until you're hopefully building a house, installing solar panels. Yeah, robot teams.
But when you hire humans, you kind of have some initial trust, right?
I would assume that the operators then are probably going to include additional services like, hey, like our robot bid this much. It comes with a human. I think is probably what's going to happen. So it's going to be inverse, right? It's not a human that brings equipment. It's going to be a robot that brings a human as a sort of service as part of the robot package. And right now, right, the auction winning is automatic, but in real life, you're probably going to get like a couple bids. You review them and you say, "This is the package that I want to do." Except it won't be you; it'll be like your agent that's configured for your preferences. Anyways, it's cool. It's possible. We have all the pieces. Like this is all like none of this is like imaginary at this point. It's like all the pieces. The hardware is there. Like the software is there. Like it seems like it's all there.
So what is the viral app or the killer app that people will use this for?
Doing chores, gardening, or
No, no, no.
whatever.
But being
Feel
much
lazy
more
about.
specific, taking my dog out on a walk. You have two rovers, one walks the dog and one cleans up after him. Okay, but
Maybe.
I'm really serious. What
Yeah.
I'm
So I
using
think we
that
need.
drone that you.
So I'm going to start with construction surveying, which is usually flight drones with LiDAR and a variety of other things. They're expensive drones. They cost like $20,000 to $40,000 right now.
Hmm.
But I'm going to try to get someone to either give me a drone for the project or give me money to buy a drone. So I'm gonna try to convince people to give me some money, but I'm gonna start with construction surveying and try to partner with a drone company because I don't want to run a hardware company. I want to do the R&D, but I don't want to manage the fleet. So that's my
Well,
next step.
So maybe the other way around. If I own one of these survey drones, is it active 100% of the time, or is it active
It,
only 30% of the time, and I'll give you the services for the other 70%?
exactly.
You know,
So
like
my pitch to the drone operators is twofold. One is you should get paid when the task is complete, not worry about invoicing. And two, you should have minimal downtime on your capital equipment because it depreciates over time as new equipment comes in. So you want 100% utilization and
no,
use your equipment as you can.
you
And
didn't
so,
understand me. Let me ask the question
yeah.
again. The question was, existing inspection companies that own a drone like that, is
Mhm.
that drone utilized 100% of the time, or are they willing to rent you that drone for random time windows, which your system is flexible enough to take advantage of?
Yeah, so if you look at the demo here, so if you go to the link, you'll actually see that the robots are which robots are active. So you're going to have, hopefully, I'm going to have the marketplace has thousands of robots, and it's kind of like Uber. Like some Ubers are out on the street and some are not.
Right.
And so you have active robots, and if you have inventory, so what I call inventory is a drone which is not operating. I call that that's inventory that you're not moving. It's service inventory. You can decide whether you want to post that service inventory on the market, and what it takes is you have to activate your robot ready to accept services. Um, in the short term, I suspect we're going to have an intermediary, so it won't be the robot itself doing it. You're probably going to have like an operator, which is accepting services. Um, but I think in the future, the robot itself, like you're just going to register it and give it time windows. Like maybe the robot only works from 9 until 1, and then has servicing at the depot from 1 to 5, and it flies itself, right? Like it goes, does work, and then it goes to the garage for maintenance for the day, and then it kind of like taxis, right? Like taxis do that, and I suspect it'll be similar, just without a human in the loop.
So, how do you deal with the issue of tax invoices? Okay. There's a difference between you're building my house and I want to check and see that you're doing it properly, and me being a construction uh, um, engineer, and I sell
Mhm.
the services and I have to pay value added tax in some countries and sale tax in another, and so on. So,
Yeah,
how do you turn this Bitcoin mechanism into a tax approved mechanism?
no idea. I have no idea. I would imagine the benefit of all of this, like Stripe and using on chain, is
Hmm.
that the operator itself can purchase middleware which automatically calculates everything. So because the buyer has a profile, like you're executing work in one place and like you are probably co-located, but I think the benefit is it's all programmable, but I have no idea right now. We'll see.
I think like the Stripe protocol MPP, which is kind of like X402. It's like they provide this additional service of tax compliance of VAT or goods and services tax, and maybe some extra session management that X402 doesn't have. At least that is what the selling point seems to be. So
Yeah, there's a lot of like directions we could take. My primary concern is talking to drone operators right now and getting them and getting example equipment both registered and executing tasks, because that's where like will this actually work? Like can a robot actually do this? Like we don't necessarily know.
yeah.
Um, anyways, progress this week. Progress next week will be register a robot or a fake robot on the demo, so you can just like go and register a robot. And talking to people. Build your robots, guys. We gotta seed the network.
It's coming.
Yeah. So we have now tumblers in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But why would
Seattle,
anybody pay?
Berlin, Oulu. What?
Why would anybody pay me to use my Tumblr?
It's fun actually. Like if
It's
you there are
fun.
like you have seen these bird watching camera live streams on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
millions of people watch it. I don't know why, but there are like lots of like YouTube channels like this. People just watch birds or whatever. So if you have like a robot playing around, and we have like a live stream, and you could operate it via this website, I think like you could have like lots of people watching it. So basically, if you go to the RB Mates website, so it's like a game, tabletop robot game. So it should arrive today, and
Mhm.
maybe I'll buy one more, and then we can play like capture the flag or like sumo robots, and then basically like it could be made a little more autonomous with MCP, and then you could stream that game online, and then two people could basically like take control of the robot after payment, and then like you could actually stream this game.
So I need to have two tumblers and a drone filming them independently, but automatically finding the best angles.
Yeah, you don't need the drone to. You could have just your iPhone, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, my iPhone means that I'm not there. I assume a drone is cheaper than an iPhone. It's just a intuition.
Yeah, depends on which drone you are buying, right?
Yeah.
We have 10 more minutes.
I gotta drop, guys, but we'll talk later. Bye.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
Bye.
I wonder whether
Yeah.
there is also perhaps easy case for visiting apartment remotely. Like you need to move to a new city or for a short time or long time, and you'd like to have an independent data collected and sending a Tumblr-like rover, with some camera capabilities to go, take pictures of the surrounding of the apartment from outside, and
Well,
perhaps somehow, to enter and take pictures inside also can be quite nice.
so I'm sure there is. I've spoken to people who've suggested that use, but let me give you a little bit of a twist. If I have an apartment I'm trying to rent out, I put a drone in it, and people pay in order to view the apartment. But they don't pay me. They don't pay the person renting out the apartment. They pay some third party.
Yeah. So there
And
is like checking come people, right? They come and check. At least the here in Finland, you go and check the pipelines and leakage and stuff before you are going to rent or buy something.
yeah, that's very sophisticated. I'm really simple. I want to rent an apartment. I'm a student. I want to rent an apartment. There's five options. Each one of them is a dump. Okay. So I really don't feel like going there, but I pay a few Bitcoin and I get a video for each one from my eye height, from the height of my dog's eye, and maybe a quick look around the neighborhood, what it looks like at any particular hour I want it to look like. Okay. So, and like I said, the drone doesn't belong to the apartment owner, it belongs to Rafa. Okay. And you can imagine that even after I rent the apartment, the drone stays there, but only I can control it. But I still pay for the pleasure. Okay, kind of remote inspection. And it's one of these super cheap drones. Yeah, it's not a expensive drone. But most people are not going to want to buy a drone and install it and so on.
Yeah.
The question is, can you make enough money off an apartment in order to justify the cost of a drone? Otherwise, you have to do it per apartment building.
I wonder whether there are scenarios also, to follow, to have a drone, to follow someone. So that may sound creepy, but I'm more thinking about the people I heard, worried about their children from home to school, who walk by themselves. I wonder whether they, you have many drones with the capability to follow a target automatically. Okay, it's a feature built.
Yeah, but there are like laws regarding this. At least in Finland, you have to follow the GDPR kind of privacy rules. So you cannot take pictures like if you can identify someone. So you have to fly above a certain height, and then basically people aren't identifiable. So they're like
Yeah, I
so.
see.
So there are laws, drone laws regarding, at least in Europe, I know. So there should be something similar in other parts of the world as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Question: do you have a kind of checklist of what to do to get Tumblr on the network, so that
No, actually, but we can try that assembly if you have all the stuff, and
Mhm.
then basically we could try to set it up live assembly. I think we have tried it with Mayor or Venkat at some point, so we can do that
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
I've got
all the software components are already there. So the registration part, I do it with command line, but Rafa is working on something like website based something. Exactly, I don't know. But right now, you just have to run UV, right? Python register Tumblr, and basically you have to change the name, and then it will register on chain. And then yeah, so basically I use a throwaway wallet to register the robot on chain. There is a generate wallet script in the repo, and then it stores it in the environment variable. But at some point, we should change it to server managed uh, wallet, something like Privy or Coinbase server wallet.
point.
Basically, you are not dealing with the wallets. You are just dealing with Web2 related login mechanism, but behind the scenes, Privy or Stripe are doing the crypto infrastructure stuff.
Agreed, and I think the simpler the better, especially if it's the RoboMate kind of thing. Like a one command setup would be great. And Venkat in the chat suggests the a skill to write a skill to do the setup, and yeah, that maybe and you could
Yeah,
probably
even like if I write a skill right now, it will like you still have to fund the wallet. Uh,
yeah.
so even with the faucet testnet faucets, you had need to have some activity on the main chain to get some uh, like uh, like USDC from the testnet. So that is like a small headache. But if you, I think, use Privy, it should be a little easier, I guess.
So for me, the FP boards. So I'm just missing the FP boards. Okay, so they arrived yesterday, but I can only get them on Saturday. So maybe from Saturday, then I will be asking on. I will be asking questions on how to
F,
set that up. Because
which boards?
S3 nanos.
The Arduino Nano. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Why? There is another one.
No, no, I didn't understand like which board you
Oh,
had bought,
sorry.
but
Yes.
say,
That's the only piece I'm missing to be on par with you. Okay. And so, a, But for the meeting next week can be about going from the plain tumbler to a registered one. But I'm trying to do it by myself before, so that during the
Okay.
meeting, maybe resetting, but try to have everything done in 1 hour.
Yeah, and basically you might need a caster wheel like this. So Venkat and I have this caster wheel because right now the
Ah,
balancing code is not ported yet. I didn't have time yet, but at some point I would try to port that balancing self balancing code.
okay.
Well, there is code, but it's not tuned. It falls off. So
Mm. Yeah, I have the same actually. For the we bought the simulation demonstration where I'm trying to use the code from the Arduino directly, okay? Because we can. But apparently, I didn't get the physics engine or the physics properties of the different parts exactly correct, and so it falls pretty quickly. Basically, the tuning is necessary. That kills
yeah,
a bit
but
the
all these
idea.
fake rovers, which are basically HTTP endpoints and fake endpoints,
Yeah.
we could have like an actual simulator and a digital twin. Basically, if somebody wants to pay and simulate, let's say some training policy, so the registered simulator could basically run different simulations and then provide the result as a feedback or something.
Right.
Because like not everybody wants to like buy a GPU, right, just to run a simulation. So basically, somebody who has a GPU could be running a simulator, and
Mhm.
then basically register that simulator on the on chain, and then you could run. Somebody could buy simulations if they want.
Indeed, yeah. Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
fine.
So
Good fun. Um,
okay. So maybe we can check that next week. We
yeah.
are
Yeah.
on the top of the hour. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for today, and good day, good night.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.